ตอนนี้ในช่วงเวลานี้นะครับทางสปีกเกอร์ของเราก็พร้อมแล้วนะครับที่จะมาให้ข้อมูลดีๆเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของดิจิทัลนั่นเองครับ So now I would like to invite Mr. Malcolm Johnson, the Deputy Secretary General in the National Telecommunication Union or ITU in this title Powering the Information Society. So if you ready, please put your hands together for welcome.
Thank you very much. Sawadee Krab. Good afternoon, everybody. We live in a digital transformation age, with big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, 5G, and so many other technologies coming along. It's a very exciting time. We have to make sure that this digital transformation changes our lives for the better and changes our lives for everyone. This is why this morning I signed a memorandum of understanding on behalf of ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, with the Ministry for Digital Economy and Society, so that we can assist with this tremendous initiative called Digital Thailand. It's a very important step in the development of Thailand. I'll speak a bit more about this memorandum of understanding and what we want to achieve with it shortly, but it's such a nice view from up here. Let me just take a photograph. I can use that for a tweet. I don't know how many of you are tweeting at the moment, but during the time it takes to take a photograph, there's been 350,000 tweets sent around the world. And it adds up to 500 million tweets a day. And that's just with Twitter. So when you add all the other social media, mobile phones, and all the other Internet of Things technology coming online, it's estimated that there are 2.5 quintillion bytes of data being added every day. If you don't know what quintillion is, it's a billion. So that's 2.5 billion billions of bytes every day being produced by sensors around the world. Needless to say, this puts tremendous pressure on the telecommunications network and also on the use of the radio frequency spectrum. So many services now all competing together to use the finite radio spectrum. And this is something that needs to be harmonized and agreed internationally. Otherwise, all these services would be interfering with each other, and different countries would also be interfering with each other. So this is something that is at the core of ITU's tasks and responsibilities going back many years, over 150 years. And all these different services that people rely on more and more have to be able to interoperate. They have to be able to go across borders. Take your mobile phone with you when you travel, you expect it to work. That's only going to happen because of the ITU's work harmonizing the radio spectrum, so the spectrum is used for the same purposes in different countries, but also that all these different devices work to the same standard, international standard, to ensure interoperability, interconnectivity, and they also, of course, bring the added benefit of reducing costs through the economies of scale. To do this, ITU works very much with the private sector. In fact, unlike most UN agencies, ITU has a private sector of over 450 companies, members of ITU. That's in addition to the 193 governments that are members of ITU. We also have academia. We have over 150 universities members of ITU, and I'm pleased to say that 3 of those are in Thailand, together with civil society and a number of other organizations. As we're approaching 2020, a lot of the work in ITU is towards 5G systems. There'll be a world conference in 2019 to agree the spectrum that 5G will be using. We've already developed a number of standards related to 5G, in particular on the performance targets for 5G, which is in this ITU program we call IMT 2020. And this will provide many of the new services such as automated driving, remote medical surgery, e-health, collaborative efforts such as robotics, artificial intelligence, and e-education, etc. We expect these days to be connected at all times, everywhere, and this is quite a challenge. ITU produces a State of the Broadband report every year, and this year's report was published last week, and it shows that there's still quite a lot to be done. In fact, developed countries are moving ahead so fast that the gap between developed countries and developing countries is actually increasing. This is true for the transmission network speeds in different countries. It's true for the digital gender divide between countries, actually grown, estimated now at 250 million more men online than women, whereas a year ago it was estimated at 200 million. So bridging the digital divide remains one of the top priorities for the ITU. And Digital Thailand, of course, is very much in the same context as ITU's objectives in this area. That's why I was very pleased to sign this MOU this morning. We have still a lot of people unconnected around the world, and as I pointed out at the forum downstairs that's going on today and tomorrow on smart cities, 2 out of 3 of the unconnected people are in the Asia-Pacific region. And in fact, half of the unconnected are in 5 Asia-Pacific countries, mainly South Asia, because those countries have such a large rural population, estimated at around 80%. So reaching out to the rural areas is something that ITU is continually advocating and facilitating, and this is, of course, one of the main aims of Digital Thailand. The minister spoke about connecting villages, over 350,000 this year, and by the end of next year, the aim is to connect all the villages in Thailand. This is a tremendous, ambitious goal, but it will bring the digital economy, of course, to all these villages. And of course, the aim, as was mentioned this morning, is so that young people can stay in their homeland, enter the digital economy, can use the web to offer their services and products, to be able to sell online, and to increase their income and the income of the village, and improve the standard of living in villages. So this is something that in ITU we very much appreciate and work with. In fact, I myself resonate very much with that, because I was born and brought up in a little village in the center of Wales. And although that's thousands of miles from here, I think people in villages still have the same aspirations. And who knows, one day somebody from a little village in Thailand will end up sitting behind my desk in Geneva. I very much hope so. The scale of the infrastructure needed to achieve this, of course, is incredible, and it's only through partnerships between public and private sector that we can achieve this. This is why that it's very important for the world to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, that we have the ICT backbone. And in fact, it's something we're always advocating, is that we need to roll out the ICT network in order to sustain the development towards the development goals. We produce a number of reports, they're online on the ITU website, illustrating how ICTs can be used to achieve each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And we also want to encourage industry to invest in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. We did a study with GESI, the Global E-Sustainability Initiative, done by Accenture, which estimated that if industry contributes to the achievement of the SDGs, that by 2030, the ICT sector turnover will increase by $2.2 trillion a year. So there's a really good business case for industry to get involved in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. It's 2 years since those goals were adopted in the UN in Geneva, and we have to look at how we're going to achieve those goals every year. Countries come to New York every July to show what they've achieved. And it's not so much the connection. If you look at the statistics showing that we have 3G, at least 3G connection in 85% of the world's population. But we only have less than 50 connected. So it's not just a connectivity problem. It's an issue of affordability. It's an issue of seeing the relevance to people to pay the cost of getting connected, to see that it's going to be an advantage to them. And this is why we need to bring down costs. Governments need to reduce taxation so that the costs come down. Operators need to bring down their costs. But we also need to ensure that the content online is something that people will see as an advantage to them. And that content has to be local content. It has to be something that they can relate to in their villages or in their region. And it has to be in the local language. So this is another thing that we're always advocating. We have to bring the content so that people can see the advantage of paying for the services. Digital inclusion can only be effective and meaningful if everyone feels empowered to use it. So that means we also need to develop the digital skills so that people are able to use the technology and to understand how to get the best use out of it. So that's why we were very much in favor of this Digital Thailand initiative, linking the villages, bringing the rural e-commerce initiative together with the village broadband initiative so that e-commerce can be exercised in the villages. And that's why we were so happy to be here with you today. I think it's a fantastic event, so many interesting exhibitions around this floor that we can see just how much enthusiasm there is in Thailand to make use of this technology. And I was very impressed this morning when I arrived to see the lines of so many young people queuing to get into this event was very encouraging. I think it shows, it bodes well for the future of Thailand. Human capacity building, youth, cybersecurity, access, investment, digital startups, entrepreneurs, SMEs, the implementation of the MOU that ITU has signed with Thailand this morning will assist in all these topics, and we really look forward to implementing this MOU with Thailand and look forward to a fantastic future for the country. Let me quote Mahatma Gandhi, who said that the future depends on what we do in the present. So I think what we're doing in the present here today bodes well for the future of Thailand. And we look forward to working with you to powering the information society. Thank you very much for your attention. Kau Kau Kum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm Johnson, the Deputy Secretary General International Telecommunication Union. Thank you so much. และลำดับต่อไปนะครับก็ผมขอเรียนเชิญนะครับคุณพรชัยหอมชื่นผู้ช่วยผู้อำนวยการนะครับสำนักงานส่งเสริมเศรษฐกิจดิจิทัลครับ so I would like to invite Mr. พรชัยหอมชื่น the Executive Vice President Digital Economy Promotion Agency please come up on the stage to present the gift for the speaker. And thank you very much, Kun Pornchai Homchun, Executive Vice President, Digital Economy Promotion Agency. And thank you very much for all the speaker, Mr. Malcolm Johnson, Deputy Secretary General, International Telecommunication Union, or ITU. Thank you very much.